Welcome to Yom Kippur Afternoon. We are well into our fast. We have been praying and singing and meditating and tikkuning and reflecting, and here we are, ready to hear more Torah, to take time alone in front of the ark, and to pray the Mincha Amidah. This is where our day starts to become luminous, where we've burned off all of the distractions of the mundane and are deep into the spiritual realm. This is where we can open, expand, have insight, feel truth. This is where our hearts are unbound and can begin pouring out of us, so that by the time we get to ilah, we are all light. We start with our Torah service on page 361. Please rise.
Tetzei Torah, udvar Adonai mirushalayim. Ki mitzion tetzei Torah, udvar Adonai mirushalayim. Ki mitzion tetzei Torah, udvar Adonai mirushalayim. Adonai Eloheinu romemu, ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu le'har kodsho romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu le'har kodsho. We need the mantle too, and the yad, please be seated.
We are going to be reading this afternoon from Leviticus 19, verses 1 to 18. This is the holiness code. This is the very center of the Torah. And I'm going to be calling 3 aliyot. Rabbi Molly Kane is going to be reading Torah for us. I'm going to call 3 aliyot, and I'd like you to consider coming up for an aliyah if some of them speak to you. So the first aliyah, in verse 3, we will be hearing the idea that we should keep God says, keep my Sabbaths. So if you are seeking to deepen your relationship to Shabbat or to practice rest of any kind in the coming year, if you would like to rest more than that or do less, that's a good aliyah for you to come up for. The second aliyah, in verse 10, we read the laws of Peah, the idea that we don't harvest to the edge of the field and we leave that for those who are in need of it. And so this is a good aliyah if you are thinking about your relationship to tzedakah and how you give and how much you give and generosity and how you contribute to the world. And the third aliyah we will hear in verse 18, do not hate your kinsfolk in your heart. And chocheach tochiach, surely reprove, I forget what it says, your neighbor, your friend, recha maybe? And so if this third aliyah is if you are wanting this year to be thinking about your role in building bridges in your family or in the society, in places where there are divisions, and trying to heal hate, to grow understanding. That's a good aliyah for you to come up for. Those are our three aliyot. So the first aliyah, those who are wanting to rest more, have a new relationship with Shabbat, please come forward for this aliyah.
יעמדו כל אלה שהם רוצים לשמור את השבת ולתת יותר מנוחה בשנה הזה לעלייה לתורה. We can follow along with Leviticus 19 in your Machzor on page 365. Page 365, Leviticus 19, verse 1. Baruch Adonai Mevorach Le'olam Va'ed.
Amen. Vayidaber Adonai el Moshe lemor. Daber el kol adat b'nei Yisrael v'amarta lechem kedoshim tehiyu ki kadosh ani Adonai Elohechem ishimo v'aviv tireu Tira'u ve'et shabbatotai tishmoru ani Adonai Elohechem al tifnu el ha'elelim ve'lohei masecha lo te'asu lachem ani Adonai Elohechem.
Mishaberach Avotenu v'Yimotenu, may the one who blessed our ancestors bless you with rest in this year, with new inspiration to observe and celebrate and experience the fullness of Shabbat. May you be restored through your efforts at rest. Yesher koach. And our next aliyah, those who are thinking about tzedakah, thinking about giving, thinking about generosity in this year, come on up for this aliyah. Those who just are making sure we have somebody here for the aliyah, thank you very much.
Continuing with verse 5, Leviticus 19, verse 5.
Amen. Vechi tizbechu זבח שלמים לאדוני, לצריכם תזבחו ביום זבחכם, יאכל ממחרת והנותר עד יום השלישי ואש יישרף, ואם האחו יאכל ביום השלישי פיגוהו לא ירצה, והחלב אונו יישא כי את קודש אדוני הילל וניחותה הנפש ההיא מעמך ופוטרכם את קציר ארצכם לא תכלה פת שדה לקצור ולקט קצירה לא תלקט וכרמך לא תעולל ופרד כרמך לא תלקט לעני ולגר תעזוב אותם, אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Amen. Mishaberach Avotenu v'imotenu, may the one who blessed our ancestors bless you with inspiration toward generosity, just as you demonstrated in your willingness to jump in when there was a need. May you continue to be generous in that way and others. Yesher koach. Third aliyah. Those who want to build bridges, those who want to cross divides, those who want to reduce the hate in our midst or the divisions in our families or in our community, come forward for this aliyah.
Yamdu kol bonei gesharim l'aliyah laTorah. We're continuing on page 366 with verse 11, and a note that we are joined, of course, by those who are with us via the screen. We see you. We want to hear you too. We don't want you to feel left out, so we're building a bridge to those through the screen. If you're on Zoom and you would like to unmute to be part of this aliyah, if you hadn't had a chance to, now's a wonderful time. Baruch Adonai Mevorach Le'olam.
Amen. Amen. Lo tignovu velo techachashu velo tishakaru ish be'amto velo teshaveu bishmi la shaker vehilata et shem Elohecha ani Adonai lo ta'ashok et recha velo tigzol lo tehaloli peolat sachir ot itcha ad haboker lo tekalel chayresh velifnei or lo iver lo titan mikshal v'yareta melohecha ani Adonai lo ta'asu avel b'mishpat lo tisa p'nei dal v'lo te'adar p'nei gadol b'tzedek tishpot amitecha lo telech rachil be'amecha lo ta'amod al dam re'echa ani Adonai lo tisna et achicha bilvavecha tocheach et amitecha velo tisa alav chet lo tikom velo titor et b'nei amecha ve'ahavta l'rechacha kamocha ani Adonai.
Amen.
Mishaberach Avotenu v'imotenu, may the one who blessed our ancestors bless you in this time when it can feel like things are so divided. May you be gifted with the ability to listen well, to be able to communicate truths, to be able to hear the hearts of others and the places where their disagreement comes from someplace good. May you help those around you soften to those they disagree with, and may you succeed in building the bridges you seek to build. Yeshua. We are ready now to lift and dress our Torah. Our President John Horowitz is going to lift our Torah for us. Please rise.
Page 367. Ezot HaTorah shesam Moshe lifnei bnei Yisrael al pi Adonai beyad Moshe.
You may be seated. It's time now to hear the Haftarah for Yom Kippur Afternoon, the beloved story of Jonah. And we invite our beloved Rabbi Emeritus, Jerry Reeder, to offer us those words. And he'll tell you more about the translation that he's using.
Thank you. I'll begin by just saying you could find the traditional translation for Jonah on page 369 in your Machzor. I'm going to be reading a translation that was written by Paul Levy. Paul Levy was a very long time trustee of the congregation, past president of the congregation, past treasurer of the congregation, and served with tremendous distinction as the congregation was changing. I came here in 1978, and in 1978, Paul Levy was a junior member of the board. There was the senior board, and there was the junior board. And as the congregation was changing and Brownstone, Brooklyn was changing, many people were beginning to join the congregation. We were a German, old line, traditional, classical Reform synagogue. And Paul Levy was one of those folks who led the transition. Jules Hirsch and Julianne are sitting right there, and they can certainly tell others, and some other longtime members of the congregation are here as well. Paul wrote this translation of the book of Jonah, and it has been my privilege to read it for the past number of years. So it's going to be different, but If you want to compare it to the traditional, as I said, you can find that in your machzor. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar b'nviim tovim v'ratzav v'divreihem hane'emarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai abocher b'torah u'v'Moshe avdo u'v'Yisrael amo u'v'nviei ha'emet Vatzedek. The word of Adonai came to Yonah ben Amittai. Kum, wake up, go to Nineveh, that great city, and cry out to its inhabitants, for the stench of their wickedness has risen before me. Yonah awoke, and instead started for Tarshish to flee from Adonai. He went down to Yaffo and found a ship going to Tarshish. He paid the fare and went down to the ship to sail with the others to Tarshish, away from Adonai. But Adonai cast a mighty wind upon the sea, and such a tempest came up upon the sea that the ship was in danger of breaking up. In their fright, the sailors cried out, each to his own god, and they flung the cargo overboard to make the ship lighter. Meanwhile, Yonah had gone down into the hold of the vessel, where he lay down and fell asleep. The captain went over to him and said, "What's with you, that you just lie there sleeping? Kum, wake up, call upon your God. Perhaps this God will be kind to us, and we will not perish." The men said to one another, "Let's cast lots and find out on whose account this misfortune has come upon us." They cast the lots, and the lot fell on Yonah. They said to him, "Tell us why you have brought this misfortune upon us. What is your business? Where do you come from? What is your country? And of what people are you?" He said, "I am an Ivri, a Hebrew. I fear Adonai, the God of heaven, who made both sea and land." The men were greatly terrified, and they asked him, "What have you done?" And when the men learned that he was fleeing from Adonai, for so he told them, they said to him, "What must we do to you to make the sea calm around us?" For the sea was growing even more stormy. He answered, "Heave me overboard, and the sea will calm down, for I know that this terrible storm came upon you on my account." Nevertheless, the men rowed hard to regain the shore, but they could not, for the sea was growing even more and more stormy around them. They cried out to Adonai, "Please, Adonai, do not let us perish on account of this man, and do not cause us to be responsible for the death of an innocent person. For you, Adonai, by your will have brought this about." Only then did they heave Yonah overboard, and the sea stopped raging. The men were greatly in awe of Adonai. They offered a sacrifice to Adonai, and they made vows. Adonai provided a huge fish to swallow Yonah, and Yonah remained in the fish's belly 3 days and 3 nights. Yonah prayed to Adonai, his God, from the belly of the fish. This was his prayer. "In my trouble I called to Adonai, and I was answered. From the bowels of Sheol I cried out, and you heard my voice. You cast me into the depths, into the heart of the sea. The flood engulfed me. All of your breakers and billows, they swept over me. I thought I was driven away out of your sight. Would I ever gaze again upon your holy temple? The waters closed over me. Tehom engulfed me. Weeds twined around my head. I sank into the base of the mountains. The bars of the earth cast upon me forever. Yet you brought my life upon the pit, Adonai my God. When my life was ebbing away, I called Adonai to mind, and my prayer came before you into your holy temple. They will cling to empty folly, forsake their own welfare, but I, with loud thanksgiving, will sacrifice to you. What I have vowed, I will perform. Deliverance is Adonai's. Then Adonai spoke to the fish, and Yonah was spewed out on dry land. The word of Adonai came to Yonah a second time. Kum, wake up, go to Nineveh, that great city, and cry out to its inhabitants that which I will tell you. This time Yonah awoke and went straight to Nineveh in accordance with the word of Adonai. Now Nineveh was an enormous city of Elohim, a 3 days walk across. Yonah started out and made his way into the city, the distance of 1 day's walk, and proclaimed, 40 days more and Nineveh will be overthrown. The people of Nineveh believed in Elohim. They proclaimed a fast, and nobility and commoner alike put on sackcloth. When the news reached the king of Nineveh, he rose from his throne, took off his robe, put on sackcloth, and sat in ashes. And he had the word proclaimed throughout Nineveh. By decree, the king and his nobles, neither man nor beast, or flock or herd shall taste anything. They shall not graze, they shall not drink water. They shall be covered with sackcloth, man and beast, and shall cry mightily to Elohim. Let each person turn back from evil ways and from the violence with which we are all guilty. Who knows but that Elohim may turn back and relent? The wrath of Elohim may be turned back so that we will not perish. Elohim took note of their deeds, for they were turning back from their evil ways. Elohim renounced the punishment planned for them and did not carry it out. This displeased Yonah greatly, and he was grieved. He prayed to Adonai, saying, Adonai, isn't this just what I said when I was still in my own country? This is why I fled beforehand to Tarshish. For I know that you are a compassionate and gracious God, endlessly patient, abounding in kindness, renouncing punishment. Please, Adonai, take my life, for I'm better off dead than alive. Adonai replied, Are you so deeply grieved? Now Yonah had left the city and found a place east of the city. He made a sukkah, a booth, there, and sat under it in the shade until he could see what happened to the city. Adonai, Elohim, provided a kikayon, a gourd, which grew up over Yonah to provide shade for his head and save him from discomfort. Yonah was extremely happy because of the kikayon. But the next day, at dawn, Elohim provided a worm which attacked the kikayon so that it withered. And when the sun rose, Elohim provided a sultry east wind. The sun beat down on Yonah's head, and he became faint. He begged for death, saying, I'm better off dead than alive. Then Elohim said to Yonah, Are you so deeply grieved about the kikayon? Yes, he replied, so deeply that I want to die. Then Adonai said, You cared about this kikayon that you did not work on, and you did not cultivate. It appeared overnight and perished overnight. And should I not care about Nineveh, that great city, in which there are more than 120,000 persons who do not know right from left, and many beasts as well? And there is an addendum to this Haftarah on page 371 from Micah. Is there any divinity save you, who forgives the sins and pardons the transgressions of the remnant, your people? You do not maintain anger forever, for you delight in love. You will return to us compassionately, overcoming the consequences of our sins, hurling our sins into the depths of the sea. You will keep faith with Jacob, showing enduring love to Abraham as you promised our ancestors in days of old. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, tzur kol haolamim, tzadik b'chol hadorot, ha'el ha'ne'eman, ha'omer v'yoseh, ha'medaber u'mekayim, shekol devarav emet v'tzedek. Ne'eman atahu Adonai Eloheinu v'ne'emanim dvarecha, v'davar echad midvarecha, achor lo yashuv reikom, ki el melech ne'eman v'rachaman atah, baruch atah Adonai Ha'el ha'ne'eman b'chol devarav, rachem al Tzion ki hi beit chayenu, laluvat nefesh toshia b'mehera b'yameinu, baruch atah Adonai mesamech Tzion b'vaneha. Samcheinu Adonai Eloheinu b'Eliyahu hanavi avdecha, u'b'malchut beit David mishichecha, b'mehera yavo v'yager libenu, al kis'o lo yashev zar v'lo yinchalu od acherim et kevodo, ki v'shem kodshecha nishbata lo shelo yichaver nero leolam va'ed, baruch atah Adonai Magen David.
Amen.
We are ready now to return the Torah to the ark. Please rise.
Page 373. Etz Chaim hi lamachazikim ba, et omechea meusha derachea darchei noam vechol netivotea shalom hashivenu Adonai elecha v'nashuva chadesh yameinu kekedem. Rabbi Timona, we're going to wait on closing the ark. Rabbi Colin, what's going to happen next?
So glad you asked that question. During this next bit of time, we each have a chance to come before the open ark. You can use this time however you want or need. You can pray to God, you can talk to God, you can reflect on this past year, consider the year ahead. You can offer an impromptu blessing to someone you love, whether they are here or not. You can know exactly what you want to say when you get there, and then say something else entirely. You can say nothing at all. You can cry, you can laugh, you can meditate. Sometimes people come before the ark to pray for someone who is sick or for the continued health of their family. Sometimes this time is joyful, exciting, or sweet. Sometimes it is mournful. The time you spend before this ark belongs to you, to do and say whatever it is that you might need to do and say and be in those moments. There is no wrong way to show up. All we can do is try to let our hearts soften to the moment and see what happens. And so we'll invite you to take as long as you need in these moments before the ark on your own or with family. We'll invite you to line up on this side of the ark and to make your way up as others move on from their moment, and to come down the center aisle.
Usually in synagogue we don't sit when the ark is open, but for this we're going to allow the ark to stay open so people can have their moment, and those who are waiting can be seated. Our Yizkor service will begin in just a few minutes. the words for that nigun that Cantor Breitzer was just singing are from the narrow place I call out to God. God answers me from the wide open space. We gather for Yizkor on this, the holiest day of the year, because who we are is bound up in who we come from. May our hearts soften. May we be filled with love. May we be comforted. May we remember. Some of us recall parents who watched over us, nursed us, guided us, and sacrificed for us. We're on page 290. Some of us lovingly call to mind a wife, a husband, a partner with whom we were truly united in our hopes and our pains, in our failures and our achievements, in our joys and our sorrows. Some of us remember brothers and sisters who grew up together with us, sharing in the play of childhood, in the youthful adventure of discovering life's possibilities, bound to us by a heritage of family tradition and by years of togetherness and love. Some of us call to mind children, entrusted to us too briefly, to whom we gave our loving care and from whom we received a trust that enriched our lives. So many of us recall beloved relatives and friends whose affection and devotion enhanced our lives, and whose visible presence will never return to cheer, encourage, or support us. Though they are gone, we are grateful for the blessings they brought to our lives. We are sustained and comforted by the thought that their presence in our lives remains an enduring blessing that we can bequeath to others. We can show our devotion to them by our devotion to those ideas that they cherished. O God of love, make us worthy of the love we have received by teaching us to love you with all our heart and with all our soul and with all our might, and to spread the light of your divine love on all whose lives touch ours. Give us strength to live faithfully, for we are cheered by our confidence that you will not permit our lives to be wasted, but will bring all our worthy strivings to live on, even as we may not see their fulfillment.
This is a poem by a woman named Linda Paston entitled "The Death of a Parent." Move to the front of the line, a voice says, and suddenly there is nobody left standing between you and the world to take the first blows on their shoulders. This is the place in books where one part ends and part two begins, and there is no part three. The slate is wiped, not clean, but like a canvas painted over in white, so that a whole new landscape must be started, bits of the old still showing underneath. Those colors sadness lends to a certain hour of evening. Now the line of light at the horizon is the hinge between earth and heaven, only visible a few moments as the sun drops its rusted padlock into place.
Adonai ma'adam v'teidaehu ben enosh v'techashvehu Adam lahevel dama yamav ketzer oved baboker yatzitz v'chalav לערב ימולל ויבש לדמיונות ימינו כן הודה ונביא לבד
Poem by Merle Feld. It's on the left column on page 291. Yesterday, when I was on the number 7 bus, I happened to look at the cuticle of my right forefinger. And for a moment, I thought not that it was mine, but that it was my father's. The same small confusion I have from time to time when I catch sight of my daughter in her denim skirt, size 3, and I feel lean, willowy in her clothes. So there I was on the number 7 bus, overtaken by a longing very close to love, staring at the cuticle of my right forefinger. I remembered how clean and short he kept his nails, and suddenly there was the whole man reconstituted from a fingernail standing before me, smiling broadly, his face flushed with pleasure. But then, just as suddenly, he was gone, and though I stared earnestly at my fingernail, I failed to bring him back.
Shiviti Adonai lenegdi tamid ki mimini balmot lachem samach libi vayagel kevodi af besari yishkon lavetach shiviti Adonai lenegdi tamid ki mimini balemot lachen samach libi vayagel kevodi af besari yishkon
This is a poem called Bright Mariner. It was written by Catherine Garrison Chapin after the death of her young son. Had I known that you were going, I could have given you at least good speed, but you slipped away so suddenly that I was left standing on the shore. watching into space, not knowing that you would never come back, till I felt the waters of the incoming tide cold about my heart. I do not ask for you again. I know the sea you sail does not touch these shores. I only look for a distant all hail, like the white crest of a wave against the horizon, or a signal light flashing once far against the sky. Sail on, my bright, sturdy mariner. Let out a full sheet to your new winds. Taste the clear spray of your new waters. You were made for flight and swiftness and eternal freedom. Nothing shall weigh you down or call you back to warm earth, or the shape we knew, or the place that held you so very dear. I have cut the anchor chain that bound you to me, and the great strength of my love, and the heavy ache of my loneliness, which might bear upon you and hold you back. I have fashioned into a shining silken fabric to the highest and strongest of your new sails.
The last few years, we've invited members to share, a member each year to share a personal reflection about someone they lost in this year that has just passed. This afternoon, we're going to hear from Annette Powers about her dad.
At the conclusion of the 30 days after burial, a Shloshim memorial service is often held. I did not have a Shloshim memorial for my dad, but instead wrote this piece of writing as a memorial to him. I spoke at the funeral about my father's character and the words I would use to describe him, but I felt remiss that I didn't talk about my personal relationship with my dad. At the time, it just felt too difficult. I could barely accept that my dad had died, even though I was holding his hand when it happened. It all seemed unreal. In the past few weeks, the reality that he's gone has washed over me in flashes of memory and in dreams, often when I least expect it. I'm struck by tears falling into my mask on the subway or tossing and turning in bed at 3 a.m. My mind settles on one of hundreds in a lifetime of memories with my dad. I find these memories at once comforting and haunting. Here are just some of the thoughts that have been rattling around in my mind over the past month. I don't know when I started calling him Padsy Wackle. I think I was probably in middle school, and I wanted a rhymey name for him since he had always called me Schnetzel Wetzel. That moniker came with a song handed down to him from my grandmother, Ruth Powers. The song went, Yetzim, Betzim, Bida Bida Betzim, Boom, Dida Bida Vataka. I'm not sure of the origin of the song, but I think it was in Yiddish and had something to do with bed bugs. If any of you know it, please tell me. My dad changed the words to Schnetzel, Wetzel, Bida Bida Betzel, Boom Dida Vita Vataka. Anyhow, he called me Schnetzel Wetzel, or Schnetz for short, and I called him Padsy Wackle, or Padsy for short. And when it came time to pick a name for his new grandsons, Max and Sam, to call him, he chose Padsy. Padsy seemed a fitting name for a man who seemed tough, but was really just a big teddy bear. My whole life, family and friends said I had him wrapped around my little finger. As the youngest of three, I certainly had it easier than my siblings, who took the brunt of my father's temper in earlier years. He mellowed as he aged, but I also worked hard to uncover his softer side. Padsy thought I could do very little wrong. Someone once asked him if he could be anyone in the world, who would he be? Without a moment's hesitation, my father answered, Annette. Even on her bad days, she's happier than I am on my best days. He repeated this story to me and to others often. I took this statement as a tremendous compliment, but also a tremendous responsibility. I felt that I always had to be that happy-go-lucky person my dad thought I was. As I got older and went through some difficult times, I worried that I let him down because I couldn't always be chipper. He assured me that wasn't the case. My dad was really great at reassuring me, whether with a story, a joke, or a big hug. He gave his affection freely and wholeheartedly. Padsy and I often had chats. We'd talk about the things we both loved, movies, theater, books, travel. We'd talk about the things he wanted me to know, Torah, the law, personal finance. And sometimes we would talk about God and the meaning of life. My father was one of the most idealistic people I knew. This may come as a surprise to some who saw him as a cynical person. But I found that he was only cynical out of disappointment that life wasn't exactly the way he thought it should or would be. He remembered things as he wanted to and was often frustrated with the way things were. I used to encourage him to be more optimistic and would often sing him this song I learned at camp one summer. Stay on the sunny side, always on the sunny side. Stay on the sunny side of life. Over the years, I decided I was probably an atheist, but I used to challenge my dad. If he believed in God, why didn't he lean on those beliefs and let his faith comfort him? Why couldn't he see hardships or disappointment as part of God's plan? But he couldn't. He was forever looking back at the way things were or looking forward and worrying about what might be. His idealism was his albatross. But when someone else was down, my dad was so good at offering a big picture perspective that gave them hope and strength. Several friends, many of my peers, have told me how my dad gave them a pep talk at a difficult time in their lives, and his words really impacted them. I was also privy to many of these reassuring chats and life lessons and will miss them dearly. I also miss watching my dad interact with my son Noah. Padsy got a kick out of everything Noah did, whether it was discussing baseball stats or the way Noah liked to play pass the story at the dinner table. The two of them had a great rapport, even when they were teasing each other, which they did often. Whenever we'd go to Flint, where my parents lived, Noah would give Padsy a Brooklyn wake-up, which would include tickling, cuddling, and throwing stuffed animals. They would also stay up late every night, watching musicals or scary movies like Jaws, which were not approved by me, I might add, and eating way too much ice cream. Every Passover, Noah would find the afikomen, and his prize would be a trip to Barnes & Noble to buy books with Padsy. I'll miss watching their relationship develop, and I hope Noah will hold on to his memories of Padsy for the rest of his life. Padsy was so intent on being there for Noah's bar mitzvah next year. As he was dying, my father said, "Tell Noah I'm sorry." I said, "Dad, don't worry, you'll be there, one way or another." Here are a few more things about my dad I want to remember. His long-winded stories and jokes, some of which were repeated dozens of times over the years, playing Jeopardy together, the way he always smelled like English leather aftershave, teasing him about the way he ate corn on the cob, his warm hands, watching him litigate in court, hearing him recite poetry he had memorized as a child, watching classic movies together, which we did every Sunday night during high school, singing Chad Gadya at Passover, hearing him recite Kiddush on Shabbat, listening to him wax poetic about the U.S. Constitution, jumping waves in the ocean together, his love of linguistics and world cultures, hearing him chant Torah and blow the shofar at synagogue on the high holidays, and his messages on my voicemail saying, "Shabbat Shalom, little love." As my dad was dying, I didn't know what else to do to ease his pain, so I did the only thing I could think of. I sang to him. I sang all his favorite songs. I sang songs from West Side Story and Hebrew songs like Im Tirtzu. I sang Michael Row Your Boat Ashore and The Sidewalks of New York. When I ran out of songs, my sister told me to sing them again. It seemed to calm him down as he struggled to breathe. I sang prayers to him and the version of Don't Cry for Me, Argentina that I sang for his 50th birthday party. As he was turning 50, I was already in college, and my dad was having a hard time accepting the fact that I would probably never live at home again. I rewrote the words to the song from Evita and sang, "Don't cry for me, Padsy Wackle. The truth is I'll never leave you, though it may get harder for you to see me. I'm Schnetzel Wetzel and always will be." That song seemed appropriate to sing as I watched my father die. I wanted him to know that even if we couldn't see each other, we would always remain Padsy and Schnetzel. Thank you.
Each year when a member shares their memories like that, I'm so touched by the specifics of their story, even if it's not like my story. And until this year, I didn't have also a death of my own father at Yizkor. And I always speak after the person who shares, and today I'm speaking after Annette, and also have my own father who died. My dad didn't believe in God. He wasn't exactly an atheist. He just didn't quite believe. But when he knew that the time had come for him to die, he was certain that his soul would live on. And he knew that he was going to be with his parents and his brother and his daughters, and that he'd be watching over us. Over and over again, he would tell us, "I will be watching over you. I will be smiling on you. I will be doing what I can to protect you and to bless you." Makes me think about the song you sang to your dad. The day he died, my father noted that my hands were cold. You know you've got a cold hands problem when a dying person is concerned that your hands are cold. And he said, "I will always warm your hands." I still think of that now when my hands are cold. Recently, someone asked me whether I believe in signs. This person had just experienced something uncanny, something that really seemed like it had to have come from their loved one who died. Did I believe that our loved ones send us messages? That things appear to us, symbolic things that indicate that the soul of our loved one is getting in touch, is communicating, is right there? I told her that so many people have described to me stories like hers, coincidences, strange occurrences, sightings of butterflies and birds doing things they don't usually do, objects and places that don't make sense other than the symbolic meaning particular to their relationship. I've just heard too many stories like this to dismiss them. I've also sat with many dying people who, like my father, spoke of seeing their loved ones who died before them. I don't claim to know with any certainty what happens when we die, but I do believe the soul lives on, and I do believe that communication happens between the living and the dead. At first, I felt my father so strongly after he died. I felt that he was right there. But as time has gone on, I mostly don't. Most of the time, I can't feel him. But I'll tell you that since last night, speaking about him, and today, preparing for Yizkor, I've felt him right near. Some of you have spoken to me about being in dialogue with your loved ones long gone, talking to them every day. Some of you tell me about dreams of being with your loved ones. Some talk to me about not feeling your loved ones at all and how hard that is. I do know that this kind of remembering, the remembering of Yizkor, setting aside time to turn our attention to the people we love who aren't here anymore, keeps us in relationship. I do know that our relationships with our loved ones continue on, whether through memories or dreams or conversations or signs, or a felt presence or stories or contributions we make to our world or lessons from their lives that shape us. The truth is that the relationship never ends. Even when we're not conscious of it, we're still in relationship. We're always in relationship with the people we love. They're in us, as a voice in our head, as mannerisms, as memories etched onto our hearts. They're in us, and we are in them. And this outlives death. So in that way, Yizkor is like a visit. It's a way of tending the ongoing relationship. May they watch over us and protect us. May they send us signs and bring us blessings. May they feel close when we need them close. May they warm our hands when our hands are cold. But if our hands are cold and we cannot feel them close, may we trust that their love remains, that they are still in us and we are still in them, that we have a relationship that changes with time but does not end.
Adonai roi lo echsa bin od deshe yarbitzeni al mei menuchot nafshi yeshovev yancheini b'maglei tzedek yancheini b'maglei tzedek leman shemo gam ki elech begei tzalmavet lo ira ki ata imadi shivtecha umishantecha heima yenachamuni taroch lefanai shulchan neged tzorerai dishanta Hashem en roshi kosi revaya Och tov v'chesed yirdefuni kol yemei chayai kol yemei chayai v'shavti beveit Adonai leorech Adonai roi lo echsa Adonai
When Will I Be Myself Again by Rabbi Louis John Aaron. When will I be myself again? Some Tuesday, perhaps, in the late afternoon, sitting quietly with a cup of tea. Or Wednesday, same time, or later. You will stir from a nap and see her. You will pick up the phone to call her. You will hear her voice, unexpected advice, and maybe argue. And you will not be frightened, and you will not be sad, and you will not be alone. Not alone at all. And your tears will warm you, but not today, and not tomorrow, and not tomorrow's tomorrow. But someday, some Tuesday, late in the afternoon, sitting quietly with a cup of tea, and you will be yourself again.
We turn now to page 291 and take time, each of us on our own, with our silent Yizkor prayers.
A poem by Yehoyash, one of the greatest Yiddish translators of his age. Mortality. En bringt sich zu mein Brust, und Lip zu Lip sich klemmerren, zu neuf mit wilder Lust, wenn ein Neshama mit dein Sveter, wird in ein einzigen Strahl zum Euf geküsst. When I press you to my chest, with wild love face to face, and our two souls cling together and blend into one enchanted beam. Dann fällt ein schwarzer Schatten auf mein Fried, und ich denk, wie schnell nicht bloß die Jugendflamme, nur das ganze Leben meins und deins zurück in sich wird einsappen der größere Jam. Then a dark shadow falls upon my joy, and I think how quickly not just the flame of youth, but our whole lives, mine and yours, will be drawn back into itself by the great sea. Die tiefe Nacht, die ewige, sie macht zum Punkensug unseren an End und schlingt zurück dem Lebensschimmer ein, herausgespiegen bloß auf einen Moment. The deep, eternal night would make an end of our dual spark, and we would swallow back up the life shimmer, spit out for one mere moment. Page 292. Exalted, compassionate God, grant perfect peace in your sheltering presence among the holy and the pure, whose radiance is like the heavens, to the souls of all the men, women, and children of the house of Israel who were slaughtered, strangled, and burned in the Shoah. May they rest in paradise. Master of mercy, may they find eternal shelter beneath your sheltering wings, and may their souls be bound up in the bond of life. Adonai is their portion. May they rest in peace, and let us say, Amen. Amen.
We now have an opportunity to remember all those loved ones and members of this congregation, our Union Temple family and our CBE family both, who died in this last year. Henry Bowman Backer, Ann Balin, Kenny Baer, Neil Bernstein, Thomas Buketich, Barbara Berger, Clive Chaget, Margaret de Calandria, Faye Dobro-Kaufman, Marilyn Downham, Lorraine Druss, Stuart Duell, Edward Elcott, Renee Elmaleh, Sue Esco, Basia Feingold, Bruce Frankel, John Frankenberg, Andy Fusco, Deborah Georgianis, Mark Gibbons, Rabbi Robert Goldenberg, Ada Goldman, Joseph Gordon, Arlene Grossman, Dan Geyer, Rosine Heifetz, Helen Kaplan-Heller, Jay Hessman, Michael Hiller, Alice Hoffman, Harvey Honig, Marguerite Iskandarian, Sosti Jaikaran, Shirley Kalnitz, Alvin Karp, Ross King, Katie Lazarus, Arthur Leeds, Frederick Edwin Lieber, Allison Lau, Marie McEwen, Erwin Maycole, Herbert Mann, Kathy Matty, Hilda Nissen, Pamela Rachel Oline, Helen O'Neill, Mark Panley, Rosalind Plax, Edward Powers, Alan Rabin, Raymond Roker, Eleanor Roper, Sarah Rosenstock, Mark Rubin, Michael Sandler, B. Shane, Joyce Salmonsky, Wilma Schiffman, Henry Singer, Eileen Starr, Pierre Taubenblatt, Barbara Thomas, Eli Timoner, Margaret Friedman Vaughn, Sally Weinraub, James Yacarino, Ayaya Veen, Sandra Zwirling, Itka Freiman Zygmuntowicz. We say of all of them together, Zichronam Livracha. While I'm naming all those names, I want to make mention that we have another Yizkor service very, very soon at the end of Sukkot on Monday, September 27th at 6:30 p.m. right here. In the rising of the sun and in its going down, we remember them. In the blowing of the wind and in the chill of winter, we'll remember them. In the opening of buds and in the rebirth of spring, we'll remember them. At Passover Seder and Thanksgiving dinner, we'll remember them. In the rustling of leaves and in the beauty of autumn, we remember them. In the beginning of the year and when it ends, we remember them. When we're weary and in need of strength, we remember them. When we're lost and sick at heart, we remember them. When we have joys we yearn to share, we remember them. So long as we live, they too shall live, for they are now a part of us as we remember them. We come now to El Malei Rachamim, page 293, and we rise.
מנוחה נכונה תחת כנפי השכינה במעלות קדושים וטהורים כזוהר הרקיע מזהירים לנשמות כל אלה שהזכרנו היום לברכה שהלכו לעולמם בגן עדן תהי מנוחתם. אנא בעל הרחמים הסתירם בסתר כנפיך לעולמים בשלום על משכבותיהם
Exalted, compassionate God, grant perfect peace in your sheltering presence among the holy and the pure, whose radiance is like the heavens, to the souls of all those we have recalled today. May their memory be a blessing, and may they rest in paradise. Master of mercy, may they find eternal shelter beneath your sheltering wings, and may their souls be bound up in the bond of life. Adonai is their portion. May they rest in peace. And we say together, Amen. We turn now to the words of the Mourner's Kaddish on the next page. Yitgadal v'yikadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayei echon u'vyom echon u'v'chayei l'chol Beit Yisrael, b'agala u'v'zman kariv imru. Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah Mevarach Le'alam Lalmei Almaya Yitbarach V'yishtabach V'yitpa'ar V'yitromam V'yitnaseh V'yithadar V'yit'aleh V'yithalal Shmei T'kudesha Brichu Le'ela Le'ela Mikol Birchata V'shirata Tush Bechata V'nechemata Damiran Be'alma V'imru. Amen. Yehei Shlama Rabbah Min Shemaya V'chayim Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael V'imru. Amen. Oseh Shalom B'mromav Huyaseh Shalom Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael Ve'al Kol Yoshvei Tevel V'imru. Amen. May the Maker of peace make peace for all who mourn. And we say together, Amen.
Oseh Shalom B'mromav Uyaseh Shalom Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael Ve'imru Amen. Oseh Shalom B'mromav Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru Amen. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yoshvei Tevel. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom. Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael.
This concludes our Yizkor service. The ilah will begin at 6 o'clock.
when you're ready. Yeah, we just start with everyone here. Yeah, yeah. Yantiv, Shana Tova, everyone. Welcome back. I invite you to find a spot. There are many spots in the balcony, which I only note as a matter of fact. I hear the balcony is lovely this time of year. Avengers, assemble. Look at this. All right, repeat after me. We return.
We return.
We return.
We return.
We return. Return again. I think I know this song. Again. We return. We return, we return, we return, return again and again to love, to love, to love. You've got that note. I don't have it anymore. To love. We return again to love. We return. We return. We return. We return. Return again. We return. We return. We return. We return. We return. Return again and again to That's truth, not tooth. To we return again to truth. Ashivenu. Ashivenu Adonai Elecha benashuva Chadesh Sing it louder. Take a note that sounds good.
We return.
We return.
We return.
We return. We return. Return again.
We
So we return. We return to be together all together again. We've been in so many places these High Holy Days. We've been at the old stone house. We've been at the picnic house. We've been in the ballroom. We've been here in the sanctuary. Some of us have been in the basement in the gym across the street. We've been on Zoom. We've been on Facebook. We've been streaming. We've been on YouTube. We've been a lot of places. And here we are all together again to conclude this journey, just as the gates begin to close. As we begin this service, I want to introduce our entire team. We're all here together. It's so nice. I am Rabbi Rachel Timoner, and this is Cantor Josh Breitzer, and this is Rabbi Stephanie Colin, and this is, I don't need to look at this is Rabbi Matt Green, and I don't know who to go next. This is Rabbi Molly Kane, and this is rabbinic intern Eliza Scheffler, and this is cantorial intern Jordan Goldstein, and this is Rose Snitz, who's been leading with us these High Holy Days. And I don't know if Debbie Bruckman or Tehila Eisenstadt are here. I know that they're not here, but they led earlier today, and I also know that Jerry Weeder, our Rabbi Emeritus, who's been with us the whole time, had to go. But this is our team. This is our amazing, amazing CBE team, and they have brought their look at that, yes. They have brought their very best these High Holy Days. I'm so proud of them and so grateful to be in this amazing team. So we're all gathered together as the gates begin to close. And some of us were just in Yizkor and are coming with the weight and the release of that experience. Some of us were not at Yizkor. Some spent the afternoon meditating. Some spent the afternoon thinking about social justice and tikkuning the olam. Some are here in Brooklyn, and some are scattered around the region and the country and the world. But now, as the gates begin to close, we're here together. We're gathered weary and also uplifted from a day of fasting, and also weary and uplifted from a day of praying together. We're gathered for one last push of heart opening, of truth telling, of forgiveness. Now, as the gates begin to close, let us give one last great sweeping effort to release, to purify, to come home. Ashrei is on page 394.
I asked Jordan and Rose to come over here, and the rest of the squad, come closer. Maybe we can make like more of a clump and less of a line. Ashrei yoshvei beitecha, od yehallelu chasela. Ashrei ha'am shekacha lo, ashrei ha'am she'Adonai Elohav tilal David arom mimcha Elohai hamelech, v'avarcha shimcha le'olam va'ed, b'chol yom avarcheka, v'halel shimcha le'olam va'ed, gadol Adonai u'mehulal me'od, v'li gedulato ein cheket, toledo yeshabach ma'asecha u'gevurotecha yagidu, hadar kevod hodecha, v'divrei niflotecha asicha, ve'ezuz norotecha yomeru, u'gedulatecha saperena, zeicherav tuvcha yabiu, et tzidkatecha yirlaneinu, halul verachum Adonai, erech apayim u'gochaser, tov Adonai lakol verachamav al kol ma'asasav, yoducha Adonai kol ma'asecha, v'chasidecha yevarechucha, kevod malechutecha yomeru, u'gevuratecha כפופים, עיני כל אליך יסברו, ואתה נותן להם את אוכלם בעיתו, פותח את ידיך ומשביע לכל חי רצון, צדיק אדוני בכל דרכיו וחסיד בכל מעשיו, קרוב אדוני לכל קוראיו, לכל אשר יקראו באמת, רצון יראה ויעשה, ואת שבתם ישמע ויושיעם, שומר אדוני את כל אוהביו, וכל הרשעים ישמיע, תהילת אדוני ידבר פיו, יברך כל בשר שם קודשו לעולם ועד. אנחנו נברך יה מעתה ועד עולם, הללויה.
We turn to Chatzi Kaddish on page 397. Please rise.
This will be followed by a silent Amidah from page 398 to 406. יתקדש ויתקדש שמי רבה, אמן. בהלמה דברה חירותי, והמליך מלכותך, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בגלה ובזמן קריב, ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך, לעולם ולעלמי עלמיה, יתברך וישתבח, ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, איי 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 איי, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו לעילה לעילה, מכל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה, דמירן בעלמה, ואמרו amen.
Our silent Amidah goes from page 398 to page 406.
Page 407. El nora ilah hamtzelanu mechila bisheat haneila el nora ilah el nora ilah hamtzelanu mechila bisheat haneila el nora ilah hamtzelanu mechila bisheat haneila metei mispar keruvim lechaim noseim u'misaledim mechila bisheat haneila el nora ilah hamtzelanu mechila bisheat haneila shoftim lekana v'shamechei v'shamer hachasham hamtziei mechila bisheat haneila el nora ilah hamtzelanu mechila bisheat haneila eya lahem lesitra ve'atzei mimera ve'chotmim le'ol ulgila bisheat haneila el nora ilah hamtzelanu mechila bisheat haneila el nora ilah Stay standing, right, Rabbi Green?
That's
You're
right.
not going to stand on ceremony, except we are going to stand because there's more ceremony.
That's so true. And I was thinking not only of standing, but popping out from underneath here, as Rabbi Colin suggested, to come after you. As every year they put me after you, which is great.
Actually, I make the menu, so I put you after me.
So now I know. Maybe we'll talk about it next Yom Kippur. Ne'ilah is a party. Well, we do Ne'ilah as a party. Ne'ilah literally means locking. We talked about it as closing, but it literally means locking. And we know that the Book of Life is going to be locked in just an hour, or I guess under an hour. It's going to be locked just moments from now. And that same root of na'al, of locking, Ne'ilah, nun ayin lamed, gives us the word na'al itself, meaning shoe. This is one of my favorite teachings about Ne'ilah. And the word na'al appears most famously in the Torah in Exodus, when Moses encounters God at the burning bush, who tells him, Sal na'alecha me'al raglecha.
Just wanted to see if you knew.
That's right. That's right. Sal na'alecha k'antrabreitzer me'al raglecha. Remove the shoes from upon your feet. When we consider this connection between shoes and locking, we can understand God's command to Moses to mean unlock yourself, as we just did. Unlock yourself before coming near me. Unbind yourself from the perception of what is normal for you. Unlearn what you have been taught to expect from the world so that you can imagine an alternative. And just now, I know many of you have been here before, but maybe you just unlearned what you thought about synagogue. And I hope throughout this year, synagogue feels a lot more like that, Cantrabreitzer. This is the unlocking. This is the first thing that Moses has to do in his leadership of the Israelites. But it's also the last thing that we're invited to do in these final moments of Yom Kippur. We get one last Amidah now, before breakfast. And beginning with this prayer, one last chance to unlock the new selves that we want to be in 5782. We continue on page 408.
The words of the Avot ve'Imahot can also be found on the back of your transliteration supplements. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei Avoteinu ve'Imoteinu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak ve'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor ve'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim Ve'Konei Hakol Ve'Zocher Chasadei Avot ve'Imahot U'mevii Goel Livnei Bneihem Leman Shemo Be'ahava. Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ufoked Sarah. Amen. Atah gibor leolam Adonai, mechayem etim atah rav lehoshia. Mechakel ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי המתים.
Amen.
Page 410 in the middle. Open the gates of righteousness for us, that we may enter them and praise God. We have knocked on your doors, merciful one. Do not turn us away empty-handed. Open for us and for all Israel, our people, wherever they are.
The waters parted. Oh my gosh, Canard. We're at the very edge now, the edge of the water, the edge of the trail, right up against the gate that we keep hearing is about to close. If this journey has a destination, then it's this moment, the one we've been working up to for the past 24 hours, or the past 10 days, or the past year, or the past lifetime. We have reflected, we have prayed, we have sung, we have clapped, we have wept. We have turned, and we've seen our turning, that we are good and worthy and imperfect and also have caused pain, that we are loved and lovable and flawed and created in the image of God. That was a rhyme. It was flawed and God.
Oh, that's a New York rhyme. Flawed and God. Right?
We are flawed and created in the image of God. One more time for the people in the back. We have confessed, we have lamented, we have tapped our hearts awake with deep desire to be the person we are always trying to become: kind, gentle, a good listener, an unjealous friend, a grateful child, a patient parent, an honest worker, a rejecter of gossip, a visitor of the sick. We have molded over, and we think we are ready and sorry for our missed marks, and we have been practicing saying it all day. Forgive us, God. And before the words have even touched fresh air, God has answered us. Like God is answering Moses eternally, Salachti kidvarecha, I have forgiven as you have asked. Even as we began our day, these words were already written here, right in this book, waiting for us to arrive here. It sometimes takes a while for us to realize how forgivable we are, though, how human and beautiful and sincere and worthy. Let all forgiveness pour over us and fill us up and make us whole on this day. Forgiveness of us, our forgiveness of others, our forgiveness of ourselves. Let it shape our new year. Let it draw us closer to one another. It was written on the page before we even knew we needed to hear it. As the gates are closing, we can already begin to feel the relief of having arrived at Slichot.
Page 414. If you're feeling confined in the back, there's still some spaces here in the front if you'd like to move closer to us.
God, you are patient in the middle of 414. You are known as the source of mercy. You have taught the way of repentance. Today and every day, call to mind the wonder of your compassion and mercy toward the children of those you loved. Turn toward us in mercy, for you are the source of mercy.
על פשע ותמחה אשם, כיום ויתייצב עמו שם. תאזין שבתנו ותקשיב ממנו מאמר, כיום ויקרא בשם אדוני. 4:15 ויעבור אדוני על פניו ויקרא Say חטאתנו ונחלתנו. סלח לנו אבינו כי חטאנו, מחל לנו מלכנו כי פשענו, כי אתה אדוני טוב וסלח ורב חסד לכל קוראיך. סלח לנו אבינו כי חטאנו, מחל לנו מלכנו כי פשענו, כי אתה אדוני טוב וסלח ורב חסד לכל קוראיך.
As a parent looks kindly on a child, may you, God, look kindly on us. Salvation is Adonai's alone. Pour blessings on your people forever. Adonai Tzevaot is with us, our support, the God of Jacob forever. Blessed is the one who trusts in you, Adonai Tzevaot. Adonai, save us. Surely the sovereign will respond to us on the day that we call out.
סלח נא לעוונם הזה כגודל חסדך, וכאשר נסעת לעם הזה ממצרים ועד הנה, ושם נאמר, ויאמר אדוני, סלחתי כדבריך, ויאמר אדוני, סלחתי כדבריך, ויאמר אדוני, סלחתי כדבריך. Page 420. How we doing? אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו ואמותינו, סלח לנו, מחל לנו, כפר לנו, כי אנו עמך ואתה אלוהינו, אנו בניך ואתה אבינו, אנו עבדיך ואתה אדוננו, אנו קהלך ואתה חלקנו, אנו נחלתך ואתה גורלנו, אנו צונך ואתה רוענו, אנו חרמך ואתה נותרנו, אנו פעולתך ואתה יוצרנו, אנו בעייתך ואתה נודנו, אנו סגולתך ואתה קרבנו, אנו עמך ואתה מלכנו, אנו ממירך ואתה ממירנו, Never underestimate the power of a snap. Sometimes a well-placed snap can turn someone into a superhero. For all you Captain Underpants fans. But we digress.
So true. I remember that back in my memory when that was the age of my children. Yes. Okay, Vidui. It's time for Vidui. Page 420 at the bottom of the page. We are insolent. You are gracious and compassionate. We are obstinate. You are patient. We are sinful. You are merciful. Our days are a passing shadow, but you are the one who truly is, for time without end. Our God, continuing, our God and God of our ancestors, hear our prayer. Do not ignore our plea. Our God and God of our ancestors, we are neither so insolent nor so obstinate as to claim in your presence that we are righteous without sin. For we, like our ancestors who came before us, have sinned.
Page 421. Ay, 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 la, 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 ay, 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 la, 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 ay, ay. Ashamnu,
Ashamnu,
Bagadnu,
Bagadu,
Gazalnu,
Gazalnu,
Dibarnu Dofi.
Dibarnu Dofi,
Ay, 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 Ha'avinu,
Hevinu,
Vehirshadnu,
Vehirshanu,
Zadnu,
Zadnu,
Hamasnu,
Chamasu,
Tafalnu Sheker.
Tefalnu Sheker,
Ay, 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 ay. Yatznu Ra,
Yatsura,
Kizavnu,
Kizavnu,
Latznu,
Latsu,
Maradnu,
Maranu,
Niatznu,
Iyatsu,
Sararnu,
Sararnu,
Avinu,
Avinu,
Pasha'nu,
Ashanu,
Sararnu,
Sararnu,
Kishinu Ores.
Kishinu Ore,
Ay, 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 ay. Rasha'nu,
Rashanu,
Shichatnu,
Shichatu,
Ti'avnu,
Tiavnu,
Ta'inu,
Tahinu,
Tita'nu.
Titanu,
Ay, 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 ay.
What are we? What is our life, our goodness, our righteousness, our achievement, our power, our victories? What shall we say in your presence, Adonai, our God and God of our ancestors? Heroes count as nothing in your presence. Famous people are as if they never existed. The wise seem ignorant, and clever ones as if they lack reason. The sum of their acts is chaos. In your presence, the days of their lives are futile. Human beings have no superiority over beasts. All life is vanity. Yet from the beginning you distinguished human beings, acknowledging them that they might stand before you. For who can tell you how to behave? And even if a person were innocent, what difference would it make to you? Adonai, our God, you have lovingly given us this day of atonement, bringing an end to our sins with pardon and forgiveness, that we cease using our hands for oppression and turn back to you, wholeheartedly acting in accord with the laws you deem desirable.
Page 423. כי אתה סולחן לישראל ומחולן לשבטי ישורון בכל דור ודור וממלדך אין לנו מלך מוכר וסולח אלא אתה ברוך אתה אדוני מלך מוחל וסולח לעוונותינו ולעוונות עמו בית ישראל ומעביר אשמותינו בכל שנה ושנה מלך הארץ מקדש ישראל Because HaKippurim. Page 424. Besefer Chaim beracha b'shalom u'parnasa tova. Nizacher v'nei chateim lefanecha.
We're coming right to the end. And I want to tell you what's going to happen. So we're going to go up to the ark in a minute, and we're going to have the final Avinu Malkeinu, and then we're going to have Kaddish Shalem. You don't want to miss that. And then we're going to have the final Shema and the final Tikiyah Gedolah. And then it's going to seem like we're done. But actually then we're going to do Havdalah. And you're going to want to stay for Havdalah. Just a few more minutes. You'll get to your break fast. But it gives you a chance to close out, to really close out this day. So I want to invite all of the B'nai Mitzvah who are coming up in this year, the next year's B'nai Mitzvah, 2021 to 2022. And I know some of them couldn't come or whatever, but some of them are here. I want you to come up and open the ark for us. I want to invite the shofar chorus up to the bima. If you are on Zoom, this is your chance. It's going to get turned on in a second. We're going to see you, and we're going to want you to unmute yourself if you are a shofar sounder on Zoom. And that's all we need, right? Okay, we're going to go to the ark. But the B'nai Mitzvah, a lot of you came. People do not tell me if they're coming. I just want to say, they do not tell me if they're coming, but then they come, and that's all that matters. Come on up.
Come on.
Oh, and clergy, we want you here too.
If you have a shofar, raise it high.
Hi.
All right.
Hi.
Come on up.
Isn't it awesome to see this next B'nai Mitzvah class? Isn't this fabulous? Hi, y'all. Okay, you have to come a lot closer, though, because you got to open the ark. Somebody has to come actually to the doors. Yeah, come on. Yeah. A little closer still. Come on. And then pull the curtains apart. Other way. You got it. Well done. Okay, now you just...
Excuse me, guys. That's okay. Shana Tova. We just need to make sure there's line of sight between me and Paul, the drummer. Everyone say Shana Tova, Paul.
Shana Tova, Paul.
So we need to be able to see each other. So can you scoot this way? Yeah.
And then
yeah,
clergy,
yeah,
come
yeah,
closer
yeah.
too. Rabbis, come closer. Page 425. Avinu Malkeinu, we have sinned in your presence.
Avinu Malkeinu, we have no sovereign but you.
Avinu Malkeinu, act toward us kindly in accord with your name.
Avinu Malkeinu, make this a good new year for us.
Avinu Malkeinu, annul every harsh decree against us.
Avinu Malkeinu, nullify the designs of our foes.
Avinu Malkeinu, frustrate the plots of our enemies.
Avinu Malkeinu, rid us of every oppressor and adversary.
Avinu Malkeinu, rid your covenanted people of disease, war, hunger, captivity, and destruction.
Avinu Malkeinu, forgive and pardon all our sins.
Avinu Malkeinu, do not look toward our sins and transgressions, blot them out.
Avinu Malkeinu, return return us to your presence fully penitent.
Avinu Malkeinu, send complete healing to the sick among your people.
Avinu Malkeinu, remember us favorably.
Avinu Malkeinu, seal us with goodness in the book of life.
Avinu Malkeinu, seal us in the book of redemption.
Avinu Malkeinu, seal us in the book of sustenance.
Avinu Malkeinu, seal us in the book of merit.
Avinu Malkeinu, seal us in the book of forgiveness.
Avinu Malkeinu, achazirenu, b'tshuva shelema lefanecha. Avinu Malkeinu, shelach refuah shelema lecholei amecha. Avinu Malkeinu, zochreinu bezikaron tov lefanecha. Avinu Malkeinu, chotemeinu besefer chaim tovim. Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, chotemeinu besefer geula v'yeshua. Avinu Malkeinu, chotemeinu besefer parnasa v'chalkala. Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, chotemeinu besefer zechuyot. Avinu Malkeinu, chotemeinu besefer selicha umechila. 426. Avinu Malkeinu, Forneinu Vaneinu. Avinu Malkeinu, Forneinu Vaneinu, ki ein banu maasim. Aseh imanu, tzedaka v'chesed. Aseh imanu, tzedaka v'chesed ve'oshienu. Aseh imanu, tzedaka v'chesed. Aseh imanu, tzedaka v'chesed ve'oshienu. Page 428. Two, three, four. Yitkadal, yitkadal, shemei raba. Be'alma divra kirutei, be'yamrit malchutei. B'chayechot u'b'yomechot, u'chayei dechol beit Yisrael. V'gala u'bizman karim, kayimeru amechaben. Yehei shemei raba, 29. Shofar sounders, get ready. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malechuto, Leolam Vaed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malechuto, Leolam Vaed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malechuto, Leolam Vaed. Adonai Hu HaElohim, 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 Adonai Hu HaElohim. Everyone, Adonai Hu HaElohim. Tekiyah Gedolah.
All right. So, I want to remind us that this was the first time in a long time we'd all come together in person. What an amazing way to celebrate. We are alive. We've been praying. We have been praying. We have been praying all day. We've been praying for these 10 days. We've been praying for 18 months. We've been praying. And our Yom Kippur has come to an end. And now we're going to turn to Havdalah. We have these three symbols. We have the wine, which symbolizes sweetness, holiness. We have the spices, lest we feel deflated after this day is gone, lest we feel that the ordinariness of the world weighs us down. We keep the smell of these spices in our nose to remember the sweetness of this day, the spice of this day, the holiness of this day. And then we have the braided candle, which remind us that we're separating and yet it's all braided together. This day is ending. These holy days are coming to an end, but we weave the insights, the new awareness, the softened heart, the forgivenesses, the love into the rest of our days as we go forward.
Shana